have come here to meet their daughter, Judy, who was coming home from school for the holidays. Here they are. Well, Mary, after all that rushing about, we're here early.
Well, what's the time now, Henry?
Just 4:15, and Judy's train doesn't arrive until past.
Are you sure?
Absolutely sure.
Well, I'll just go and check which platform.
Yes, dear, off you go. Oh, dear. Myself and the mums and dads and boys and girls, we've just seen a bear.
A what?
A bear.
A bear? On Paddington Station? Don't be silly, Henry. They can't be.
Oh, but there is. I distinctly saw it, didn't I, boys and girls? Yes. Thank you very much. It's over there behind those parcels. It's wearing a funny kind of hat. Go and see for yourself, dear.
Oh, very well, Henry. Why, Henry, I believe you and the boys and girls and the mums and dads are right after all. It is a bear.
Seeing that something was expected of it, the bear politely raised its hat. Good afternoon, it said in a small, clear voice. Good afternoon. The bear looked at them for a moment. Can I help you? He said. Well, no, not really. As a matter of fact, we were wondering if we could help you.
You're a very unusual bear.
The bear puffed out his chest. I'm a very rare sort of bear, he said. There aren't many of us left where I come from.
And where is that?
The wood. Darkest Peru, he said. I'm not really supposed to be here at all. I'm a stowaway.
A stowaway?
Yes, said the bear. I emigrated. I used to live with my Aunt Lucy, but she had to go into the home for retired bears in Lima. You don't mean to say you've come all the way over here by yourself?
Whatever do you do for food? Oh, you must be starving.
I ate marmalade, he said rather proudly. Bears like marmalade. And I lived in a lifeboat.
Henry!
Yes, dear?
What does it say on his label?
Oh, yes, dear, yes. Please look after this bear. Thank you.
Oh, Henry! What shall we do? Oh, we can't just leave him here. Couldn't he come and stay with us for a few days?
But, Mary, dear, we can't just take him. I mean, not just like that. After all...
After all what? No, we need company for Jonathan and Judy. Oh, they'd never forgive us if they knew you'd left him here.
Oh, we'd all see it's highly irregular. Would you like to come and stay with us? I mean, that is, if you've nothing else planned. Oh, yes, please. I should like that very much indeed, said the bear.
Well, that's settled then. And you can have marmalade for breakfast every morning.
The bear could hardly believe his ears. Every morning, he said. I only used to have it on special occasions at home. Marmalade's very expensive in darkest Peru.
Then you shall have it every morning, starting tomorrow.
Will it cost a lot of money? Asked the bear. You see, I haven't got very much money.
Oh, of course not. We should expect you to be one family, shan't we, Henry?
Oh yes, of course. By the way, if you are coming home with us, you'd better know our names. This is Mrs. Brown.
How do you do?
And I'm Mr. Brown. How do you do? I haven't really got a name, said the bear. Only a Peruvian one, which no one can understand.
Oh, then we'd better give you an English one. It'll make things so much easier.
Yes, dear, good idea.
Now, what shall we call you? I mean, what do you call a bear you find on Paddington Station?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What was that?
I didn't hear. What was that?
Oh,
Yes, I heard you shout. seems a very long name.
Oh, no, it's quite distinguished. Yes, I like Paddington as a name. Paddington it shall be.
Good. Oh, look at the time. Paddington, I have to meet our daughter Judy off the train. Oh, I'm sure you must be thirsty after your long journey. So while I'm away, Mr. Brown will get you something to drink.
Paddington licked his lips. He was very thirsty.
And for goodness sake, Henry,
Yes, dear?
when you get a moment, take the label off his leg. It makes him look like a parcel.
Paddington didn't much like the thought of looking like a parcel. On the other hand,
We don't want someone to post you, do we?
Come on over here. Hey, there we are. Just undo this very carefully. There we are. And pop it into your pocket. And now, I can get you something to drink. What would you like to your coffee?
cocoa, please, said Paddington.
We haven't got any cocoa.
But you asked me what I would like, began Paddington.
Yep, I asked you what you'd like to your coffee. And perhaps you'd like a cold drink instead.
Cold drink, right? Would you like lemonade or orangeade? Yes, please, said Paddington.
I think orangeade would be a good idea. And a cup of tea for me, please. Thank you very much. Oh, perhaps you'd like a cake, Paddington. Would you like cream and chocolate or cream and jam?
Thank you very much, said Paddington.
We'd better have one of each. Oh, there we are. Keep the change. Now, how's that to be getting on with?
Paddington's eyes glistened. It's very nice, thank you, he said. But it's rather hard drinking out of a beaker.
Oh, yes, I'd better pour it into a saucer for you. Thank you. It's not really done in the best circles, but I'm sure no one will mind as this one's. There we are, drink it carefully. Mind your hands.
I'm glad I emigrated, said Paddington. Do you think anyone would mind if I stood on the trolley to eat?
Oh, I don't think we're insured,
Henry!
Oh.
Whatever are you doing to that poor bear? Oh, look at him. He's covered all over with jam and cream.
Tea's covered with jam and cream. What about me?
Is he really going to stay with us?
I'm not too sure at the moment, dear.
I must. What's your name?
Oh dear, said Paddington. I think I've forgotten. What is it, boys and girls? Paddington. That's it. How'd you do?
Perhaps we better go. Are we all ready?
Come on, Paddington.
Judy, you go ahead. We'll meet Jonathan and catch you up.
Okay, we'll go straight home, and you can have a nice hot bath. Then you can tell me all about South America. I'm sure you must have had lots of wonderful adventures.
I have, said Paddington. Things are always happening to me. I'm that sort of bear.
I hope we haven't bitten off more than we can chew. Well, if you have, you'll just have to grin and bear it. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Very sorry indeed.
Gosh, where did you learn to do that stare?
My Aunt Lucy taught me, said Paddington. She said it might come in useful one day.
Do you do it often?
Only on special occasions, said Paddington darkly. Or when I have an emergency.
Well, we'd better get you home before you have another one.
I'm sure I shall if you say so, said Paddington. But will she like me?
Goodness gracious, you've arrived.
Here we are. Now we're going to meet Mrs. Bird.
Mrs. Bird.
Yes, she looks after us. She's a bit fierce sometimes, but she doesn't really mean it. I'm sure you'll like her.
I'm sure I shall if you say so, said Paddington. But will she like me?
Goodness gracious, you've arrived already. I suppose you'll be wanting your tea.
Yeah, Mrs. Bird, it's nice to see you again.
Mercy me, whatever have you got there?
Is that a what, Mrs. Bird? It's a bear. His name's Paddington, and he comes from darkest Peru.
Darkest Peru. Well, he has good manners, I'll say that much for him.
He's going to stay with us.
Going to stay with us for how long?
Well, I don't know. I suppose it depends on the thing.
Oh, mercy me, I wish you told me he was coming. I haven't put clean sheets in the spare bedroom or anything.
It's all right, Mrs. Bird, said Paddington. I'm sure I shall be very comfortable on the floor. Oh?
Oh, let me help, Mrs. Bird.
Yeah.
Paddington,
Yes.
would you like to shake hands and be?
Oh, yes.
Ah, well, it didn't take us long to catch you up.
Hello, Jonathan. You haven't met Paddington yet, have you? Paddington, this is my brother, Jonathan. Gosh, how do you do?
Very well, thank you, said Paddington. I think.
It's good to have you home, Master Jonathan.
It's good to be home, Mrs. Bird.
Shall I take it, Mrs. Bird?
No, thank you very much. I'll wash it off myself.
I'm afraid that I had an accident with a cape. It's left me a bit sticky.
Yes, but I think a good hot bath will do you the world of good.
She doesn't mind, really. In fact, I think she rather likes you.
Where was it you said you was from? Peru?
That's right, said Paddington. Darkest Peru.
Ah, well, I expect you like marmalade then. I'd better get some more from the grocer.
There you are, you see, I was right. She does like you.
Fancy her knowing that I like marmalade, said Paddington.
Oh, Mrs. Bird knows everything about everything.
Now, Judy, you'd better show Paddington his room while Jonathan gets unpacked.
And while that's going on, I'll spend a few moments on my painting.
Oh, a competition. Do you think you want a prize this time, Paddington?
No one will be more surprised than your father if he does.
He's never won a prize yet. I hope this time we got
Yes.
Come on, Paddington, I'll show you your room. I hope you like it. It used to be mine when I was small. There's a shower in there, so you can have a good clean up. But my room's further along. Come on.
After Judy had shown Paddington his room, Paddington opened his suitcase and unpacked a jar of marmalade, his scrapbook, and an alarm clock. In his scrapbook, he kept a picture of his Aunt Lucy, which had been taken just before she had gone into the home for retired bears. As Judy looked at the picture, she noticed that Paddington looked rather dirty. She pointed to the shower in the corner of the room and left Paddington to clean up. Paddington had never come across a shower before. He kept his hat on to stop him from getting wet. And it wasn't long before he was waist-high in bubbles and steam, having put a flannel over the plug hole to stop the water from running away. Luckily, Judy had already asked Mrs. Bird if Paddington could stay, although Mr. Brown was none too pleased when the drips of water began to splash on his painting in the kitchen below. After Judy and Jonathan had rescued Paddington, he arrayed himself off and decided to go to bed, in case he found himself in any more trouble.
Now he's sleeping, safe in our keeping. We've got our very own Paddington Bear, drowsing, yawning, sound asleep till morning. We best all look
correct, and I'm sure Paddington will want somebody comes down for breakfast.
Yes, of course.
I think I better get Mrs. Bird to order the largest jar she can find.
Good morning, Paddington.
Good morning, Paddington.
Good morning, everyone, said Paddington.
Did you sleep well?
Oh, yes, very well, thank you, said Paddington.
You better sit down and have your breakfast.
It was the first time Paddington had had an English breakfast, and he soon found it wasn't as easy as it looked. First of all, he had trouble with the grapefruit. Every time he pressed it with his spoon, a long stream of juice shot up and hit him in the eye, which was very painful. And all the time he was worried because the bacon and eggs were getting cold. And then there was the question of the marmalade. He wanted to leave room for the marmalade. In the end, he decided it would be much better if he mixed everything up on one plate.
You're the stickiest bear imaginable.
Oh, that was very good marmalade, said Paddington. Even chunkier than I used to get in darkest Peru.
Well, Mrs. Bird buys it in the market. She said she would get some for you.
Talking of Mrs. Bird, I better go finish unpacking, otherwise she'll be after me.
Gosh, yes, I've still got masses. What would you like to do, Paddington?
I haven't got very much to unpack, said Paddington. Perhaps I could go and buy a frame for Aunt Lucy's photograph. Then I could hang it up.
I better get one of Mr. Gruber's antique shop. He's got everything.
Do you think it's a good idea to let Paddington go out all by himself on his first morning?
It's only just around the corner.
It's not fun. It's go wrong. You can't miss it. Just look for the sign saying Portobello Road. Mr. Gruber's shop is on the left going down.
Well, don't be too long, and mind you go carefully.
You can borrow my skateboard if you like, then you'll be twice as quick.
Oh, Jonathan, really? He's only got paws.
It's just a joke.
So, what are your plans for today then, Paddington?
I'm going shopping, said Paddington, in the Portobello Road.
Well, you better hurry up then. It gets very busy on market days. I'll get my skates on if I was you.
Get my skates on, repeated Paddington. Skates! That's what Jonathan said. He sees the skateboard and decides to have a go. Paws on wheels, I like this. Whoa! I think, my bottom. Perhaps I'm using the wrong paws. Now, Portobello Road is this way. I'll just pick up my skateboard and point it in the right direction. Like so. Now, one paw, two paw. Whoa! Oh yes, that's much better.
What is going on? Why don't you look where you're going?
I'm very sorry, Mr.
Curry's the name.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Curry, said Paddington. Can I help you up?
I should think so too. Knocking people over in the street. There! What are you doing there? Who are you anyway?
I'm Paddington. I come from darkest Peru, but Mr. and Mrs. Brown are letting me stay at number 32 Windsor Gardens.
Number 32? That's next door to me. Nobody's asked my permission. I've a good mind to... What is this?
I think it's a marmalade chunk, Mr. Curry, said Paddington. Some of Mrs. Bird's special. I expect it got left on at breakfast. It must have fallen in your ear by mistake.
A marmalade chunk in my ear? Ha! You may be staying next door, Bear, but if you know what's good for you, you'll stay out of my sight from now on. There, living next door.
Oh, good morning. Can I help you?
I'm not sure, said Paddington. And he told Mr. Gruber all about himself and the Brown family and how he wanted to find a frame for Aunt Lucy's photograph.
Oh, well, in that case, I'd better find something special for you. I won't keep you a moment. Now then, let me see what I got down here exactly. Ah! I wonder where that's gone. Sorry, Mr. Brown, we'll keep you a moment. Ah, there's that horse. Oh, sorry, lover. Didn't see you there. Here we are. Slightly damaged in one corner, but apart from that, it's perfectly good otherwise. It's yours for 20 pence.
Oh dear, Paddington said. I've only got Peruvian money.
Well, in that case, you take it, and you can pay me the next time you're passing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gruber, said Paddington gratefully.
I've just made some cocoa, Mr. Brown. Would you care to join me for a cup? It is time for 11's.
Cocoa? Yes, please, said Paddington.
You know, there's only one thing better than a chat over a bun and a cup of cocoa.
What's that, Mr. Gruber? Asked Paddington.
2 buns.
So,
2 buns.
Thank you. What were you doing when I came into the shop, Mr. Gruber?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Yes, I was cleaning this painting. Now, what do you think of that?
It's a puzzle, Mr. Gruber. One half is a boat,
Yes.
and the other half is a lady in a funny hat. Has she fallen out of the boat?
What? No, Mr. Brown. No, as a matter of fact, she was there first. Yes, when I started to clean the painting the other day, the picture of the boat started to come off, and I discovered this one underneath. It could be an old master.
An old master, said Paddington. It looks like an old mistress to me.
What? Old mistress in the... see, in the old days, Mr. Brown, when artists ran short of money and couldn't afford any canvas to paint on, they sometimes painted on top of other pictures. And sometimes these pictures were worth an awful lot of money. But because they'd been painted on top of, no one knew they were there.
It all sounds very complicated, said Paddington thoughtfully. I'll have to be going now, Mr. Gruber. Thank you for the 11 cents.
Is there anything the matter, Mr. Brown?
No, Mr. Gruber. I've had an idea, that's all.
Oh, I see.
I may be able to pay you for the picture frame sooner than I thought.
Oh, well, good day, Mr. Brown. Oh. I wonder what he meant by that. Oh, time. I really must be getting slowly.
Fancy. Up you go. One, two. Dun, 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 dun. Hun, dun, dun.
Paddington, what are you up to? I thought you'd gone to see Mr. Gruber.
I did, Mrs. Bird, but I'm back now, said Paddington gloomily. I wish I wasn't.
Paddington, whatever have you done? That's the painting Mr. Brown did, especially for the competition.
I know. I've been cleaning it, said Paddington. I thought there might be an old master underneath.
An old master? That used to be boats on a lake, now it looks more like a storm at sea. Oh, I don't know, I'm sure. I think it's best if I haven't seen it. Mind you, if I got myself in a mess like that, I might try my paw at putting it right. But don't say I said so.
No, I shan't, Mrs. Bird, said Paddington. Thank you very much.
Do hurry up. They're supposed to be coming for it this morning.
This morning, Paddington's knees began to tremble. But I haven't got any pens. Then he had a bright idea. On the table were the condiments left over from breakfast. Mustard, tomato sauce, and the remains of a jar of marmalade. All sorts of colours. So many that it was difficult to know which to choose first. There we go. Right. He decided to begin with the tomato sauce. and the mustard. Finally, the marmalade. No, smells good. Paddington, Picasso. Why not? Out you come. No. It was all so interesting, he thought he'd try a bit of each. And very soon, he forgot the fact that he was supposed to be painting a picture. In fact, it was more a design than a picture, with lines and circles and crosses, all in different colours. Right, let's have a look. Even Paddington was startled when he stepped back to examine it. Of Mr. Brown's painting, there was no trace at all.
Oh, good morning. I believe Mr. Brown has a painting he's entering for our competition. Well, I can't collect it.
Oh dear, said Paddington. You wouldn't like to come back next week?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I can't. The final judging takes place this afternoon.
Yeah, I was afraid you would say that.
Thank you very much. The judges will be awarding the prizes today. I expect there'll be the result later on this evening. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye. I think I've gone off painting. I bet the old masters never had this much trouble.
I wonder if I might see Mr. Brown. It's about the painting he did.
Oh dear, I suppose you better. Come in this way, please.
Mr. Brown? Yes, that's right. I'm the president of the Art Society. Oh, how do you do? How do you do? Mr. Brown, there's some very good news for you. The judges decided that your painting was most unusual.
Certainly was.
And without hesitation, they decided to award the first prize to you. The first prize? Yes, so Mr. Brown. They thought your painting showed great imagination. Did they now? Yes. It makes great use of marmalade chunks. Marmalade chunks? Oh, yes. The tomato sauce and mustard and all sorts of things. Oh, I don't think I've ever come across anything quite like this before. It's, to say the least, unusual. There we are.
I didn't know you were interested in abstract art, Dad.
Nor did I. Mr. Brown, what you going to call it? Where's Paddington? Yes. Where's Paddington? Funny title. Well, sir, my congratulations. And your prize. There we are. First prize, Mr. Henry Brown, £10. Thanks very much. And what will you do with it, if I may ask, Mr. Brown? Oh, I think I should give half to someone not too far away at the present moment. And the rest I shall donate to a certain home for retired bears in South America. Lovely, isn't it? But I must be getting along. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Yes, right.
Unbelievable.
Well, Paddington, what have you got to say for yourself?
I think they might have stood it the right way up. Oh yes, it's much better. It's not every day a bear wins first prize in a painting competition.
I'm still not sure what happened.
Well, I'll say one thing for it. What's that? It not only looks good, it tastes good. What does a bear like Paddington do when he's sad and feeling blue? What does a bear like Paddington say? To make those bear blues go away, he says, marmalade, you can do
Brown family for 2 months now. No one, not even Paddington, knew quite how old he was. So they thought they'd best begin again and call him what? To have a birthday party. Paddington had been with the Brown family for 2 months now. No one, not even Paddington, knew quite how old he was. It was Mrs. Bird's idea to have a birthday party. Paddington had been with the Brown family for 2 months now. No one, not even Paddington, knew quite how old he was. So they thought they'd best begin again and call him what? Paddington thought this was a very good idea, especially when he was told the bears had 2 birthdays every year. One in the summer and one in the winter. Just like the Queen. Paddington spent the rest of the day being hurried from one part of the house to another as preparations were made for his party. Mrs. Brown was busy tidying up, and Mrs. Bird was mixing the cream and marmalade filling for his birthday cake. Now, Paddington asked her if he could help.
I'm glad to say I've just finished. But you can lick the spoon if you like. Thank you, Petal.
Jonathan and Judy were busy with the decorations. Paddington asked if he could help.
Thank you, Paddington, but we can manage.
Everybody seemed to have a job except Paddington.
I thought it was supposed to be my birthday, he grumbled.
Oh, why don't you go upstairs and practice some of your conjuring tricks ready for this evening?
Paddington cheered up. Mr. and Mrs. Brown had given him a large conjuring outfit for his birthday. So he went upstairs and settled down to read the instructions.
Everything ready, Mrs. Bird?
Oh, yes. Now, how many people are there going to be? There's you and Mr. Brown, Jonathan, Judy and Paddington, that's 5, and me and Mr. Gruber, that's 7.
Oh, and Mr. Curry.
Oh, no, not that old grumbler. I didn't know he'd been invited.
Well, he hasn't really. He invited himself.
Just because he's a free team. I suppose he didn't complain about that.
Well, I'm afraid you may be right, but it was very difficult once he said he was coming.
Well, I think it's disgusting, stealing the crumbs off a young bear's plate like that.
Well, he'll have to look sleepy if he expects to get any crumbs off Paddington's plate.
And he didn't even bother to wish Paddington many happy returns.
Well, perhaps he will when the party starts.
It's 4 o'clock. Isn't anybody here yet?
Oh!
It's somebody now.
It's all right, Mrs. Bird, I'll go, called Paddington. Hello, Mr. Gruber. Hello, Mr. Curry. Please come in.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you. There. He's standing there.
Hello. Oh, it's very kind. We went to class.
Where's that?
Oh, here I am, just chatting to Harry and Steve next door. Hello, Mr. Gruber. Oh, Mr. Curry.
Good evening.
Evening. Well, we all know why we're here.
Yes!
Because it's Paddington's birthday.
1, 2, 3.
Join in now.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday.
What's so happy about it?
Happy
And now, before we light the candles and get down to the real business of the evening, which is
Marmalade sandwiches, cried Paddington.
and birthday cake. If you'll all be seated, I think Paddington has a little surprise for us.
Hold on to this now. Thank you. Paddington consulted his instruction book and, waving his paws for silence, announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, my next trick is impossible."
Your next trick? You haven't done one yet.
Paddington ignored the interruption. For this trick, I shall require an egg.
Oh, dear.
Oh, I feel sure something dreadful is going to happen.
Here you are then, Paddington.
Lord, do open knows what he's doing.
Thank you, said Paddington. Now, I place the egg in the magic box, and I close the lid. Now, sir, you're quite sure the egg is there?
Absolutely sure.
Good, said Paddington. Abracadabra! Ta-da! Oh, very good.
No, it's quite easy, really. It's all done by sleight of paw. Not bad, though, for a bear. But can you bring it back again?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I close the lid and say the magic word, abracadabra. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, yes, oh, very funny. Making us think you were going to find an egg and it was a jar of marmalade all the time.
Well, I think that's very good.
Thank you, he said. For my next trip, I shall need a watch.
Are you sure? I mean, wouldn't something else do?
Paddington consulted his instruction book. It says a watch.
Here we are, Bear. You can use mine. Only it's very valuable. So look after it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Curry, said Paddington. This is a very good trick. Now, I place the watch in the magic bag, so. Now I take this hammer, so, and I hit it, so.
Are you sure you know what you're doing, Bear?
Quite sure, said Paddington. Now, Mr. Curry, if you'll empty the bag for me.
What's this?
Oh dear, said Paddington. I'm afraid I forgot to say abracadabra, Mr. Curry.
Abracadabra. Abracadabra. 20 years I've had this watch, and now look at it. Shockproof.
It doesn't look very shockproof to me.
So, 17 jewels.
No, I think I may have found one of them, Mr. Curry, said Paddington.
Ah!
May I see that watch a moment?
You may. What's left of it?
Thank you. Oh, see. Ah. There may not be much left of it, Mr. Curry, but I recognize one of my own watches when I see it. You bought this watch from me about 6 months ago for 50 pence.
Rubbish! No! I've had enough of your silly tricks, Bear! I am sitting on something wet and sticky.
Oh dear, I expect it's my disappearing egg, said Paddington. It must have reappeared.
I have never been so insulted in my life. Never! This is the last time I shall come to one of your parties. There!
Poor Henry. You really oughtn't to laugh.
It's no good. I can't help it.
You see his face when he says on the air. We can have omelette for supper.
I'm sure Buster invented that trick. I'm sure it's the
From here, from there, from everywhere, they all joined in the I'm afraid it's too late, Mrs. Bird. He's already been, said Paddington. He went down the street about 10 minutes ago.
No, isn't that annoying? Now what shall I do? These clothes have got to be washed today and I have to go out.
Can I take them to the laundrette for you, Mrs. Bird? Asked Paddington. Mr. Gruber's told me all about it.
Oh, I don't know about that, Paddington. You see, I've got some of Mr. Curry's stuff here as well. Some socks and his long combinations. I promised I'd do them for him. Here, are you sure you can manage?
Quite sure, Mrs. Bird, said Paddington confidently.
Yeah, we might get your hat done at the same time. It's got some nasty stains on it.
Wash my hat, said Paddington indignantly. Those stains will be handed down.
Yes, well, anyway, you need some money. Now, I'll give you a little bit extra. You see, there's a machine on the wall of the laundress. Now, if you put 10 pence in the slot, you'll get a nice hot tub of cocoa so you can have your 11s while the clothes are being washed. Oh, and you might like a sandwich as well.
Yes, please.
Here you are. Here you go. Good. There. Now, what got hairs on your chest?
Thank you, Mrs. Bird, said Paddington.
Thank you, Paddington.
Phew! I think he keeps it over here.
Come in, do you? No, yeah, because they've got the washing for the house street.
Oh no, it's for Mrs. Bird, said Paddington.
Mrs. Bird?
Yes, and Mr. Curry, of course.
Ah, of course. Well, I'm afraid you haven't made tow machines for all this lot. I'll give you 11 and 12. Do you know how to work them?
I think so, said Paddington. Bears are good at instructions.
Well, you'll need 10 litres of soap powder for each machine. You put the first lot in when it starts, and the second lot when the machine pings.
Thank you very much, said Paddington. Now, what shall I do with these? Oh no. Yeah? Oh no. Oh yes, put them back where they came from. Good. And now to get the washing out.
Well, would you mind? Thank you. Oh, hello, Mr. Brown. Wasn't expecting to see you here today.
Hello, Mr. Gruber, said Paddington. I'm very pleased to see you.
Why? What's the matter?
I didn't know I was going to have two machines, and I'm not sure which bundle of washing goes in the hot wash and which in the warm wash.
Well, I'm sure I'll be able to help you there. Just let me have a look and see what we've got now. There's all of that in there. That's good in that one, lovely. And then there's this one that's got all the yes, there's all of that in there. Right. So that's all of this bundle into the hot wash and all of this bundle into the warm wash. So that's the bundle on the left into the hot and the bundle on the right into the warm. That's easy to remember, isn't it, Mr. Brown? Now, you mustn't forget. Otherwise, some of your clothes will shrink, yes, and some will stretch. Well, I'm off to open up my shop, so I'll see you for 11s later.
It's very kind of you, Mr. Gruber, said Paddington, but I expect that I'll get some cocoa from the machine.
Cocoa? Why, yes, a cocoa machine is wandering, Mr. Brown. Now a cup of cocoa, nice cup of cocoa, have a cup of cocoa, nice cup of cocoa. Have a cup of cocoa, have a cup of cocoa. Lovely cocoa steaming hot, there's nothing nicer than a spot of cocoa. Have a cup of cocoa. Please come and have a cup of cocoa with me.
hot, right warm. Yes. No, I don't think that's quite right. Left hot, right warm. Left hot, right warm. Left hot, right warm. Yes. Left hot, right warm. Left hot, right warm. Phew. Out you come. Yeah. Good. Any more? Any more? Good. That's that one finish. What an awful colour. Yes. No, that's a long one. There's one on the floor as well. I'll just pick up that. Aha! You can't escape. Good. Now what do I have to do? Oh, I know. Put in 1 beaker of soap powder when the machine starts. And now, perhaps I'll have time for my 11s before the machine pings. Cuckoo. Yeah. Oh dear. It doesn't seem to be working. No. Good. 2. No, I'll just put you there. And 3. No! And 4. No! 5. No! 6. Phew. Now, where's my cup of cocoa? Yes, this one I think. Soap powder! Phew! Now, when the machine pings, I have to, yes, I'm sure this is right. Good. What's this? Smoke! No, that doesn't seem to be working. Maybe if I use my hat. Yes. Oh no! My marmalade sandwich!
What on earth is going on? I heard you'd taken my washing, so I've come to make sure you're doing it properly. Now then, let's have a look in here and just see what exactly is... What on earth is this?
I think it's a marmalade sandwich, Mr. Curry, said Paddington. I dropped one in by mistake.
A marmalade sandwich? In a washing machine? Whatever next? And what's happened to my washing? If you've damaged anything there, there'll be trouble. My socks! Look at them! They've shrunk! And they've got a funny cocoa color. If you've done the same to my combinations, Bear,
I don't think so, Mr. Curry, said Paddington. They were in a different machine.
A different machine? Absolutely disgraceful. Now then, let's just make sure that these are all right, shall we? Now then, let's see here.
You see, Mr. Curry, I told you they wouldn't have shrunk.
Bear! Are you trying to take me for a ride?
Take you for a ride? Certainly, Mr. Curry, said Paddington. Anything to oblige.
Look at them! Absolutely ruined! What on earth is going on? What are you doing there? What's going on there? What is that?
Sit still!
Oh, my leg!
seems to have a very healthy appetite.
Well, he says he hurt his leg in laundrette the other day. Well, I don't know how long he'll be in hospital.
If you ask me, Mr. Curry will be coming out of hospital when it suits him, and not a moment before. He knows when he's onto a good thing. Free board and lodging.
And everybody at his beck and call.
He has a relapse every time the doctor says he's getting better. Oh, there's the postman.
It's all right, Mr. Brown, calls Paddington. I'll get it.
Thank you, Paddington. Well, I am not having him staying here, so we best not get that idea to his head.
Oh, this looks like Mr. Curry's writing.
Oh, yes, I believe you're right. What does it say?
Dear Mrs. Brown, my leg is still troubling me, although the incompetent doctors say that there is nothing wrong.
I'm sure they're right.
Will you please send me some more apples? I didn't like the last lot. They were too sour. And another cherry cake. By the way, 2 cherries were missing from the one you sent last week.
Perhaps they were loose, Mrs. Brown, said Paddington guiltily.
Yes, perhaps.
I would like them as soon as possible. Oh, dear. Oh, do you mind taking this parcel to him?
No, said Paddington cheerfully. I've never been to a hospital before.
There now, it's packed. And I fixed the cherries firmly in the cake this time, so let's hope they don't fall out.
There we are, Paddington. Now, explain to Mr. Curry that we won't be coming this evening because we're going out. Now, there is no need to stay long.
I've packed you some sandwiches and a thermos flask of cocoa. Now drink it carefully, it's very hot.
Thank you, said Paddington. I won't be long. Goodbye, John.
I do hope we're doing the right thing, letting him go by himself.
Oh, I shouldn't worry about that bear. He knows how to look after number
It
1.
wasn't Paddington I was thinking of. It's the hospital.
No. Paddington looked around the room. He'd often watched programs about hospitals on the television. In fact, he was very keen on them, particularly the ones where there was a lot of action. But nothing much seemed to be happening in Mr. Curry's hospital. There was a bag in the corner. Oh, I wonder what's in here. Oh yes, I've always wanted to use one of these. No. Come in, shouted Paddington. Come in! Oh, silly bear. Oh, and I've always wanted to wear one of these. Now, how does it go? One paw in here, and one paw in here. Whoops. I bet I look good. Now, I wonder what else is in the bag. Oh yes, I've seen these on the television. Now, I think it goes around your face. This is most exciting.
It's around you all, he's coming, and he's in a terrible mood. You know he doesn't like students who aren't properly dressed. Oh, and tidy yourself up, for goodness sakes. You're not at Glastonbury now. I'd make my apologies pretty swiftly if I were you.
Ah, there you are.
Good morning, Sir Archibald, said Paddington gravely.
Good afternoon's more like it. And it's ward rounds, they're not operations. You should be frightening the patients, Doctor.
Doctor? I'm not a doctor, said Paddington. I'm a bear. I've come to visit Mr. Curry.
Curry? Did you say Curry? Oh, that man. And it's about time we dealt with our Mr. Curry once and for all. Tell me, are you any good at tricks, Bear?
Oh, yes, Sir Archibald, said Paddington. Bears are very good at tricks.
Yes, I thought you might be. First, I have a feeling this is an occasion when we don't stick to the book. We'll make the medicine fit the patient. We'll allow Mr. Curry in here, please. We'll see him privately. Now, I think it's about time we gave our Mr. Curry a little surprise. And I think you're the best one to give it. So we'll just replace your mask, Bear. That's an idea. Now, the workmen left these tools behind when they were doing some repairs. Now, when I tell you to get your instruments, this is the box I want you to get them from. Understand? Good morning, Mr. Curry. How's our patient today?
Worse. Much worse.
Yes, I thought you might be. That's why we decided to operate.
Operate? Did you say operate?
Yes, no point in playing around with these things, is there? I'd like to introduce you to a colleague specialises in legs. Perhaps you'd like to listen to the patient's heart.
Yes,
No, take anything. Stop.
Think I should try the other end?
no.
How's that?
It's got a very strong beat, Sir Archibald. It sounds like Top of the Pops.
Top of the Pops? You've got your stethoscope on my transistor radio.
No, I'm very sorry, Mr. Curry, said Paddington.
Are you there? No, of course I am. Is this person going to be allowed to operate on me? Well, he isn't big enough for a start.
Oh, don't worry about his size. We'll give him a box to stand on.
A box to stand on?
Yes, it'll make him a bit wobbly. Otherwise, it's all right.
What?
Nurse, perhaps you'll get the doctor's instruments ready.
Certainly, Sir Archibald.
Oh.
One hammer,
One hammer.
A hammer?
one chisel,
One chisel.
A chisel?
one saw.
And one saw.
A saw?
Anesthetic nurse.
No, I'm going.
Mr. Curry. My colleague seems to have effected a remarkable cure. You can leave the hospital today.
Leave? I don't know what you're talking about.
You're not limping anymore.
Out of my way!
Congratulations, Bear. You know, I've never in all my life seen a patient recover quite so quickly.
I'm glad Mr. Curry's better. I don't expect he'll be eating his cherry cake now.
Cherry cake? Did you say cherry cake?
Yes, I brought it to him specially.
I see. Do you like eating the cherries on the top?
Oh, yes, Sir Archibald, said Paddington. More than the cake. Much more.
Yeah, so do I. It does seem a pity to waste them.
Oh, yes, it does. A great pity.
Jam is nicer. But one thing in particular we all enjoy is cherry cake. For tea. I like coffee. But one thing in particular we all enjoy is cherry cake. For tea.
Do you think that it would matter at all?
Just one cherry would never be missed. It's a temptation, the fun with it. We must take only one and a more. When I see a cake with cherries on the top of it, make no mistake, I believe the lot of it. I like lollipops and bullseyes. Sticky off, not for me, but one thing in particular we all adore. There are so many cherries that we're working for. One for you, and one for me, and another for you, and another for me.
You're home alone today, Mr. Brown, and looking after the house.
That's right, said Paddington. I thought I would give everybody a surprise, so I'm going to cook a pie for them to eat when they get back.
That sounds like a good idea. Are you sure you can manage?
Oh, yes. Mrs. Brown has some very good cookery books.
May I see?
I thought I would do some odd jobs about the house as well.
Will you have time for that?
I think so. I can paint the ceiling in the kitchen while I'm waiting for the pie to cook. Mr. Brown is always saying he's going to paint it, but he never seems to get time. Like the tap.
The tap, Mr. Brown.
Yes, it's got a leaky washer. Mrs. Bird has mentioned it several times, but he always forgets to mend it. I thought I would do that job as well. Then everybody will get a surprise.
Well, perhaps you'd like me to drop in on you a little bit later. See how you're getting on.
That's a good idea, Mr. Kruger, said Paddington. Perhaps we can have allowances together.
Well, I shall look forward to that, Mr. Brown.
Paddington set about his tasks. Oh, I think I'll begin on the ceiling. Some music would be nice. You go there. Oh yes, I've often seen Mrs. Bird dance to this pop group. one shall I use? Matte? Or gloss? Oh, I think I'll use gloss. It looks most interesting. Even standing on tiptoe, it was a job to reach the ceiling. The bucket of paint was too heavy for him to lift, so he had to come back down steps every time in order to dig the brush in. And when he carried the brush up again, the paint ran down his paw and made his fur all matted. Things were beginning to get in rather a mess. Aha! It was then that he had a brainwave. Oh, a hook, and I have a rope. Now I hope this works. Yes, that's it. And I hang my rope from the hook, like so. Around the table leg, I think. Oh yes, I'm such a clever bear.
And now it's time for our morning cookery spot. Today, it's a recipe for pastry.
Pastry, explained Paddington.
Yes, pastry for pies. Are you ready?
Hold on.
Now, we have to move quickly as we will not get through. First, you take a pound of flour.
Take a pound of flour.
You put it into a basin.
Put it into a basin.
Pour in a pint of water and mix it well until you have a nice ball of dough.
A pint of water. And mix it well.
That's good. And now, while you're mixing it, I'll play another record.
Paddington decided that cooking wasn't so difficult after all. In fact, he still had time to go upstairs and get the new washer for the tap before the man started talking again.
Mr. Brown, I let myself in. I hope you don't mind. What a mess! Dear, I wonder where it could be. I never know why young people like this sort of music. I'll see if there's anything sweeter on the other station now. Let me see. This is back in a bit. Or is it down the other way now? I've never known. Yeah! There we are. Much better. Yes, well, let's say I'm a little early for Mr. Brown. I think I'll have a stroll around the garden while I wait.
And so I'm afraid that's the end of our music program. But now, keep fit. Here's Simon Dorian with your exercises for today.
Hello, everybody. Well, this is a very simple exercise, and one that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Have you got a football handy? Oh, you have. Great.
Oh dear, the music stopped. I hope I haven't missed anything.
Now, pick up the ball.
Hold on.
And hold it above your head. And bounce it on the floor. And pick it up again. And lift. And bounce. That's good. Now, we'll do that again, but this time quicker. Remember, this time, no pause.
No pause? Oh no. Yeah, oh no. Ah! Paddington had never seen Mrs. Bird make a pie this way before.
And now I want you to toss the ball from hand to hand. And quicker. And finally toss the ball into the air as high as possible.
Hey.
And stop. Relax. Well done. Well, thanks for listening and goodbye.
Oh, good. Bye, groaned Paddington. Phew.
There you are, Mr. Brown. How are you getting on?
Not very well, I'm afraid, Mr. Gruber, said Paddington. Perhaps you could help me with the plumbing?
Well, I'll try, certainly.
If you could just undo the tap.
I can't do the tap very well, Mr. Brown. Quickly, Mr. Brown! Turn off the main stopcock!
The main stopcock, repeated Paddington.
Yes, it's over there!
Right, Mr. Gruber. Is that any better?
Oh, no, that's much worse. Quickly, the other way!
Right, Mr. Gruber, said Paddington. I mean left. like to dry yourself? There's a towel upstairs.
You know, I think I'd better. I went through completely.
Oh dear, it's all going horribly wrong.
Bear, what on earth is going on? I am trying to write a very important letter. And with all this noise going on, I can hardly hear myself think.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Curry, said Paddington, but I'm having trouble with the stopcock. It seems to be stuck. I can't turn it one way or the other.
Oh, let me have a look at it. Now then, let me see here. I just... No, that's right. No, it's no good. Have you got a spanner and a large mallet?
Oh, yes.
Well, that should do the trick, I should think.
Here's Mr. Brown's toolkit.
Oh, my
I'm very sorry.
don't touch me there. Oh, you clumsy nincompoop. Why don't you watch what you're doing there? This should do the trick. Now then, I shall place the spanner over the tap, like this.
Yes, said Paddington.
And I shall push down as hard as I can on the spanner. And when I nod my head, you hit it.
When you nod your head, hit it, repeated Paddington.
You heard me, Bear. I shan't say it again.
Are you sure? Asked Paddington.
Of course I'm sure. Now hurry up, Bear. I haven't got all day.
If you say so, Mr. Curry, said Paddington, fearing the worst.
Right! No, Bear, no! You're supposed to hit the spanner, not my head!
Oh, I'm very sorry, Mr. Curry.
I'll get you for that, Bear! I think you can get away with it. Bear! Stay still! I guess I have to stop you! Get out of my way, Bear! Let me get to that Bear!
Paddington! What on earth is going on?
Hello, Mrs. Brown, said Paddington sadly. I was just, making a pie.
Making a pie?
Painting the ceiling,
Painting the ceiling.
mending the tap.
Yes!
And it all went wrong, said Paddington.
You can say that again, everything!
It was a terrible mess and no mistake. But we'll soon get everything straight if everybody lends a hand. Now, Jonathan, you go and clear up the pastry.
Yes, Mrs. Bird.
Yeah, I'll help you, Jonathan.
And Judy, go and sort Mr. Carry out, will you?
Of course I will.
And I'll mop the floor.
I'll put the tools away, Mrs. Bird. Can I do anything, Mrs. Bird? Asked Paddington, feeling rather left out.
No, thank you very much, Paddington. You done quite enough damage for one day.
Judy,
Happy birthday, Paddington. I just need to Mr. Curry then.
Jonathan. Paddington gazed at the others, sadly. Oh, dear, he said to the world in general. I think I'm in disgrace. Oh, goodbye, everyone.
That's got that done.
Oh, it's a great help when everybody lends a hand.
Are you all right now, Mr. Curry?
No, I am not all right. I demand an apology from that Bear.
I'm sure Paddington didn't mean any harm. He was only trying to help.
Well, where is he?
Look upstairs.
He was here a moment ago.
He's in his room, and his case is gone.
And Lucy's pictures too.
Well, where on earth could he have gone to?
Well, perhaps he was upset because all his surprises went wrong.
Well, there's only one thing for it. We must organise a search party.
And where can we look? We don't even know where to start.
Oh, I do. And if you want my opinion, we haven't got a moment to lose. Forward, watch
same without that bear.
You can say that again.
I said things will never be the same without the anything of other. Come along now, Mrs. Brown. We'll make a nice pot of cocoa when we get home. We hope there was a good meal here. I like it.
Paddington!
You did it after all!
I did, said Paddington, but I missed the train. I made such a mess, I thought you wouldn't want me to stay anymore. So, I thought I'd better go back to darkest Peru.
Not want you to stay.
Even Mr. Curry wants you to stay. Don't you, Mr. Curry?
Well, I was just saying. Oh!
See?
Can't
Not
say.
enough that.
No, just what I was about to say, Jonathan. And besides, I have nobody to share my allowances with.
Talking of allowances,
Things don't smell so
Better get back home.
What do you say, Paddington?
Oh, yes, please. I should like that very much indeed, said Paddington happily. And I'll never, ever try to run away again.